first time, but we have a business. Okay, this is business, and you're a businessman. Because I don't need to these right now. But when I first talked to you guys on March 22nd, I had a handbook. I covered some items. Very importantly, line 46 addresses that. Any disrespect of football or members, staff, USFL, hotel, etc. would not be tolerated. It has been brought to my attention that has occurred with you. So unfortunately, hear me out. Unfortunately, cost of doing business, I had to let you go. Okay.
I didn't think I did anything or said anything disrespectful. I can tell you what happened exactly.
It's not important.
Right.
It's not important.
I don't know.
It's already happened.
Right.
It's already happened.
I didn't say anything disrespectful. He said, "Is that going to be a problem?" I said, "Yes." I said, and I walked away. I mean, I didn't think that was disrespectful. They said, "Yes, I don't eat chicken salad." And I was like, "Is there another option?" Walked in with pizza. I was like, "Can I get a slice of pizza?" He said, "No." I was like, he said, "Is that going to be a problem?" I said, "Yes." That's all I said. I didn't say no cuss word, nothing. That's all I said. I promise you, no disrespectful on my dad's life. I promise you I didn't say nothing disrespectful besides yes.
And I appreciate you sharing that. But the matter is done. It's done. I appreciate you sharing that. But look, someone's feelings hurt feelings are a distant second to the greater good of the team. And we've moved on to turn that page, and I'm happy we did it.
I think Mope about something.
And welcome to another edition, the first edition of 2023 of Mauler Talk. I'm Ralph Williams, your host, and it's great to be back. This is a special edition today. And what we're doing today is we're going over a bunch of stuff connected with the Maulers. And that video you just saw was from last year. And Kirby Wilson, who was the former head coach, and our new head coach now is Ray Horton. And those of you who don't know who Ray Horton is, he worked as a defensive backs coach for the Steelers under Bill Cowher. And he also worked at the Arizona Cardinals, and he's worked for several other organizations in the NFL as a defensive coach. And he also is going to be and is the new head coach of the Maulers. I'm happy with this hire. I think Ray Horton's can be a good coach. He has interviewed for coaching jobs over many NFL teams over the years, and much, much more. I think personally that this is a step up for the Maulers, and I believe that it's going to be a better season for the Maulers. Maulers last year were 1-9. They were the worst team in the USFL last year. They couldn't move the football. They made too many mistakes, and they had a dictator of a coach named Kirby Wilson. All right, as you saw there was an incident involving pizza, and he cut the guy. The guy was a star running back. I mean, I'm talking about this guy was a very much a star running back, and a very good one at that. He had been through some NFL teams. He got hurt, and he ended up in a numbers game, and he ended up in the USFL with the Maulers. This guy was supposed to be our starting star running back, and you're going to cut him over a piece of pizza. Because all he wanted was a piece of pizza. He didn't want anything else, okay? And I think that the way Kirby Wilson handled this was wrong, okay? Last year, he went through 3 different quarterbacks last year, okay, because of his stubbornness. He continued to try to shove a square peg into a round hole. And if you watch some of the Mauler games last year, that continued to happen. And I understand what you're saying to me today. You're saying, Ralph, you know what? I couldn't follow the Maulers because I didn't like the way they played. They weren't winning games. They weren't in games. And, they won one game, okay? And it was against Houston, against the Gamblers and Kevin Sumlin's team. Today, we're going to go over a lot of things in this show today. We're going over the Maulers roster. We're going to go over who the new head coach is. And we're also going to go over where they're going to be playing. And you're going to be surprised as to where they're going to be playing, because I made this suggestion last year to everybody, because people are struggling right now to take, their kids on vacation, little Johnny, little Ronnie, or whoever on some kind of a decent vacation. And, I had made a suggestion that go see the Mauler or the USFL championship game in Canton, Ohio. And you could stay there, see the Hall of Fame, you have your cake and eat it too. All right. But instead of that, everybody said, "Oh, Ralph, I don't need you to tell me where to go on vacation or anything like that." I wasn't telling you. I was suggesting. Okay. And now I'm going to suggest again that this year you take your family and you can go see Maulers games, because guess where the Maulers are playing this year? They're playing at Tom Benson Field at the Hall of Fame in Canton, Ohio. It's going to be the Maulers and the New Jersey Generals to start everything off April 23rd. Okay. The networks that are going to be handling the games this year. Okay. We're going to tell you that later on. All right. But anyway, there will be a neutral site. It's going to be the Maulers and the New Jersey Generals sharing the field. Okay. All right. So that's the story right now with the Maulers. All right. New head coach, new place to play, a lot of different things going on. But we're going to talk some stuff about the USFL right now. And later on, we're going to get back to the Maulers roster, which I'll go over with you later on. USFL has hired Dr. Jim Ellis as chief medical officer. TV outlets for all the games will be on Fox, FS1, NBC, Peacock, and the USA Network. All right, let's go over the coaches this year for all the USFL teams. The Maulers is Ray Horton. Michigan, Jeff Fisher. Michigan kind of surprised me this past year. And you know what? I was talking, I know a lot of people don't like to talk Maulers, but I was talking Maulers with a media colleague of mine, Luther Dupree. And he had said about how bad Jeff Fisher was, in his second term as an NFL coach with the Rams. I said, you know what? That was then. This is now. Some people like to resurrect themselves as far as being a coach. So they go to the USFL, XFL, whatever spring league there is, and they try to resurrect themselves. Okay. Well, here now, okay, Jeff Fisher tried to do that. His team was terrible. All right. Very, very poor. I don't know what happened. They made some boneheaded mistakes, snapping over people's heads, fumbling the football, beating yourself. And that's what Michigan did this year, or this past season for the USFL, the Michigan Panthers. So I'm not sold on Jeff Fisher as a coach. Luther was right. And Luther Dupree's part of the Steel City Sports World. He's the host, along with Claudia Rosano and my co-host on Sports Corner, and talking wrestling tonight at 7:30, Smoking Jim Frazier. All right. So anyway, next, the Birmingham Stallions, Skip Holtz. They were the champs last year. They took on the Philly Stars in the championship game, which was at the Hall of Fame in Canton, Ohio. You can have your cake and eat it too this year. You can go to Maulers games, take your kid to see the Hall of Fame, see all the Steelers there, and it's not that far to go. I know gas prices are sky high. I suggest you go. I'm planning on doing it. Okay. All right. Okay. Birmingham Stallions, Skip Holtz. Their team was in the championship last year. They got beat a few times, but Philly Stars, Bart Andrus. This hire surprised me. I wasn't sure how good Bart was, but he was a good coach last year. Took the Stars where he needed to go with them. New Jersey Generals, Mike Riley. Mike Riley has been an NFL coach. He coached the Chargers. He coached at Oregon State. He had like 2 or 3 different coaching tenures. And he also was a coach in Nebraska, which it didn't work out. I don't think anything since Tom Osborne has worked out in Nebraska. All right, next we have New Orleans Breakers. Now, Larry Fedora, former North Carolina Tar Heels coach, stepped down for personal reasons, just like Kirby Wilson did here. He stepped down for personal reasons, okay? I think, in my opinion, that is the new norm. Instead of the team coming out and saying, "Oh, you know what, you're fired." So from now on, all the coaches, not to be embarrassed, they're going to say, "I'm stepping down for personal reasons." Okay. Anyway, Houston's Kevin Sumlin. All right. And then number 8, finally, Memphis. The new Memphis Showboats are back. Tampa Bay Bandits are gone. They have now moved to Memphis Showboats. Same team, same coach, Todd Haley. former Steeler assistant and assistant in the NFL. I tell you what, Todd Haley has burned his britches so bad in the NFL that he was coaching high school. He was coaching his son's high school team before they brought him to the USFL. And I think those of you know some of the stuff he did here. Him and his wife got into a scuttlebutt scuffle at that country western place, that Tango joint there over in the North Shore here in Pittsburgh, where excuse me, him and his wife got into a scuffle with somebody in there, and so I was told by a source of mine that they were walking around like, I'm Todd Haley, this is my wife, and I can do whatever I want. People do that, and then what happens is when they do it, it bites them in the butt, and it does it all the time. And that's what happened to Todd Haley. So there's your 8 coaches, your 8 teams, and the USFL has reached an agreement with its players union. I want to go into this a little bit there with the United States or the United Steelworkers of America is who they are with, and it's great to know. Later on in this show here, I'm going to tell you how much money that they make, what they did make, what they're going to currently make on this new collective bargaining agreement. Okay, teams for this year, as I mentioned: Maulers, Pittsburgh Maulers, Memphis Showboats, Houston Gamblers, Birmingham Stallions, New Jersey Generals, New Orleans Breakers, the Philly Stars, and the Michigan Panthers. Those are your 8 teams for this year. Okay, next on the docket, facilities. I'm going to tell you where everyone's playing this year. It's not all games are going to be in Birmingham this year like they did last year. And, a lot of people criticize that. But, in order for the USFL to survive their first season, they had to do that. The promise was this year they were going to be home areas. Okay, I have a nugget for you. And I'm hoping that the Maulers officials and the people with the USFL are watching this program today, because I have a message for you from Mac Gruba, who is the public relations director for the Pittsburgh Riverhounds. He was on my Sports Corner show with myself and Smoke and Jim Frazier last night, and he had this to say when I asked him the question. About the Maulers using Highmark Stadium, and guess what he said? Yes, he hopes the Maulers reach out to them. They would be more than willing to open up to the Maulers. All right. So, and the Maulers need something like that. It's a 2,000 or 3,000 seat facility. The Maulers and some of these other teams in the USFL, they don't draw well right now. Popularity isn't there yet, but it's coming. The USFL's into its 2nd season. Let's hope it don't dissolve, because that's what they had 1 season the first time. They were trying to get a 2nd season started. It never worked. These things never work out with these spring football leagues. There's a lot of competition out there now. You have the XFL starting up this year as well. All right, the New Jersey Generals and the Maulers, as I mentioned earlier, will play at the Hall of Fame in Canton, Ohio. All right, and Tom Benson Field. New Orleans and the Birmingham Stallions will play at Protective Stadium in Birmingham, Alabama. Okay, their teams will play. Those 2 teams will meet for their first game. Everybody that's playing in the stadium together will meet for their first game. The Maulers, April 23rd, will meet the New Jersey Generals at the Tom Benson Field in Canton, Ohio, at the football, Football Hall of Fame in Canton, Ohio. It's not that far to drive. No excuse not to go to at least 1 game. Take your kids. It's very nice to see the Hall of Fame, and it's a nice small little trip. You don't have to waste a lot of gas, take a lot of time, worry about the airlines losing your luggage, or if you drive, worrying about gas prices and everything else. You know it, and I know it. You have to take out a loan now to fill up your tank with gas. You know how that goes. All right, great trip idea. So all right, and then Houston and Memphis are playing at Simmons Bank Liberty Stadium in Memphis, Tennessee. So it'll be their home field, and Houston will be playing there as well. So it's going to be those 2 there. Now, I don't have a place yet, hasn't been decided as of right now for Philly and the Michigan Panthers. At this point, it's to be determined as to where they're going to play. All right. All right. I'm going to go over the salaries, at least the new stuff for the USFL players. Training camp, they get $850 a week. You know, in case a lot of you are wondering what's going on with, the Maulers or the pay of these guys. Well, here we are. I'm breaking it down for you. The minimum amount of money they can make is $5,350 a week. It was $4,500 last year. That was what they agreed to in the new collective bargaining agreement. If you're inactive, you get $250 a week or a day. I'm sorry. If you're inactive, all right, it's 250. Or I'm sorry, 2,500 a week. Oh wow, I was reading that wrong. Sorry. All right, next you get $150 a week put in or taken out of your pay, and it gets put into a 401k, which is not a bad idea. I mean, it's not a bad thing at all, So, but there you are. There is the new collective bargaining agreement. What was agreed upon, what they're going to do, different things like that. So, I find it very interesting as to how that's going to work out. All right, if you're just tuning in, this is Mauler Talk, first of the 2023 Mauler season. We will be covering I will have a pre and post game Mauler show, and I'm working on getting some guests on from the Maulers organization as we go along here. I am, and I am bragging about it because it's the truth. And even though I'm Pittsburgh's forgotten son, I hope the Maulers don't forget about me because I am the only media outlet here in Pittsburgh that is doing anything talking Maulers. I mean, strictly talking Maulers USFL. No one else in this town is doing that. Okay. And no one else that I can think of that is doing any kind. I mean, I know they're doing USFL podcasts, but no one is strictly talking about Maulers like I am. Okay. And there's going to be copycats out there. There's going to be people out there. I have copycats out there right now. I'm the king of wrestling in this town because I am right now the only one that has established myself here in Pittsburgh talking wrestling. No one else is. The guy that was doing it, he stopped doing it. Okay. And now I got copycats trying to do what I'm doing, but they don't have the means to do it. I'm doing it. Okay. I'm the king of talking wrestling, and I'm going to be the king of talking Maulers in the city of Pittsburgh here and across the nation and all over the world. Those of you who are Pittsburghers, they live in other cities, and I know you're Maulers fans from back in the 80s when they used to be at Three River Stadium and, things like that. So once again, I want to say new coach Ray Horton. He is a good NFL assistant. He's been around. And also a new neutral site will be at the Football Hall of Fame in Canton, Ohio. Also, the New Jersey Generals play their games there as well. And you're watching Mauler Talk here on YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, and Twitter are our 4 platforms. I hope you're watching on one of them today. If you have any comments about the program, you're welcome to put them inside the comment section. First game, mark it on your calendar. Or if you decide you want to go and be at the first game, what a way to get the spring started with a nice little trip to get going into the summer. Go to Canton, Ohio, go to the Hall of Fame, and then check out a Maulers game. It's not that far to go. You don't even have to stay overnight. You can come back right away. That's how easy it is. And it's great this year because Maulers fans don't have to go all the way to Birmingham, Alabama. And that's going to be a great thing. All right. Let's see. Let's talk about the Maulers team. A lot of new players this year, 3 new quarterbacks, Chase Forcade, Connor Sampson, and James Morgan and Troy Williams. They have 4 quarterbacks this year. Now, this is just a camp roster. That I don't know. They have to go down. The roster has to get cut and to be at where it needs to be for the season. Okay. All I know is I hope Ray Horton hires himself a decent offensive coordinator, somebody who can call better plays than the one that we had last year. And I hope Ray Horton doesn't just say, we're going to run the ball. It's fine to run the football, but you got to do some play action. You got to get into doing some different things. And you can't just throw the quarterback out when he's doing bad like Kirby Wilson did last year. He might have screwed up a play or two and then end up just throwing him out of the game and then replace him with somebody else. Kirby Wilson last year went through a quarterback shuffle to it's just terrible proportion last year. It was just so bad. Our kicker last year, Aziz, he ended up in the NFL. which is great for him. And some of the USFL players ended up in the NFL. Some are on practice squads, some have made teams, and some are just they got cut, but they're going to try again. Some have stayed in the USFL. Running backs, Dwayne Gary, oh my man, Garrett Groshak. Yeah, Garrett's back. And running back, James Gilbert, Madry London is back. He did well last year. Him and Groshak. If you put the two of them in that backfield with a fullback, oh my gosh, you can run all over the place. But you got to do some play action. You got to pass. The first game they played, all they did was run, and hardly threw the ball. It was terrible. Okay, the team was poorly prepared, and you saw the result of it. They were 1-9. They almost didn't win at all. They won their game in overtime in the last second by 3 points, and it's horrible about what they've done. All right, Mason Stoke is the fullback. Tight ends, there's three: Grotavius Lynn, Datron Evans, and Matt Siebert. Matt Siebert's back again. He was there last year for the Maulers. Offensive line: Braden Padden, Charles Baliwa, tackle, Colby Thomas, guard. Let's see here. Dominic Logan, he is a tackle. Jerome Brown, guard. Okay. I have some other names here as well for you as well. Let me see I don't know what happened to my other stuff here. Oh, wow. No, that's fine. Interesting. Well, I did it again. Well, oh well. What am I going to say? All right, but anyway, they have a bunch of new guys this year, a whole bunch of linemen. Ray Horton, I hope, can put them into some good situations as well. Okay, here we are. I'm sorry. Here we go. Eli Walker, Eric Burrell, and Malcolm Elmore. Oh, I'm sorry, that's wrong. That's defense. Yeah, that's defense there. They are on the defensive backfield. Also on the defensive backfield, Keith Gibson the second. Prince Charles is back. And Sadivi Gray, Cedric Kirk, and Trevon Baldy are also part of the team for the defensive backs. I had that there, so I might as well read it. Excuse me. All right, next, the wide receivers: Bailey Gaither's back, Devon Hathaway, Hunter Risen, Isaiah Henney, and Jadlin McCaskey are your wide receivers. There's a few more, but I can't seem to locate what I had them at here. Oh well, I'll report to that next time. Defensive backs: Jarrett McLean, and I already said a few. Bo Tanner, Khalib Ham, and also Arnold Tarpley the third or the second. I'm sorry, he was here last year. Bryce Torrington was here last year as well. Linebacker: Blaze Aldridge, Dale Warren, Kayla Ticino, Malcolm Howard, and Zane Zadier. Those are your linebackers. Defensive line: Boogie Roberts is back. Yeah, we got some return players here that did pretty well last year. Chris Okoye, Jerry Beckler. Here, who else do we have here? Erwin Taylor. We have a few other guys here. Nazir Plater, Olive Severin. He was here last year. Special teams: Luke Barnett, Matt Menkel is our punter, long snapper Luke Bartow, and kicker Nathan Hurley. All right, so there's your roster, at least preliminary roster for your Pittsburgh Maulers. I'm Ralph Williams. It's been great here this afternoon here, a very special Mauler talk. Some announcements for you tonight, 7:30 p.m. on our four platforms: YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, and Twitter, is Talking Wrestling with Smoking Jim Frazier and myself. We have plenty to talk about tonight right here on our four platforms. Also, don't forget, tomorrow night, 8 p.m. is Wrestle Talk, 7:30. We're on for an hour tomorrow. Another special 1 hour edition starts at 7:30 tomorrow night. Blog Talk Radio, 347-205-9631. Saturday, 5 p.m. Sports Corner on PCTV Channel 21, Comcast 47, Verizon Cable, and on their Facebook page as well, PCTV's Facebook page. You can catch myself, Sports, Steel City Sports World, Platt's Point of View, Boxing Authorities, all different types of sports programming on Saturday. Check their listings for your time. But I do know that myself at 5 p.m., along with Smoking Jim Frazier, Sports Corner TV edition. And don't forget, coming up in 2 minutes, right on PCTV Channel 21, Comcast 47, Verizon Cable, and on PCTV's Facebook page. The way I see it, the TV version. Yeah, that is the way I see it. And that show can be on seen every single Monday night on YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, and Twitter. And don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube page as well. And also Tuesday night Sports Corner, 8:30 p.m. with myself, Smoking Jim Frazier, every Tuesday night at 8:30. Also on the same 4 platforms. And don't forget about Wednesdays and Thursdays and Saturdays. We have plenty of RW Media shows. So don't forget to tune into all of them. I am Ralph Williams. This has been the Mauler Talk. Have a great one, and thank you. And God bless and be safe.